Hello, YouTube. It's Silver Age Dave. I am here in the comic room. It has been a long winter's nap. That's where I've been. Thank you to so many people who have reached out to me and have expressed concern. Well, I've been gone. Let me turn my volume down here so I can follow along. If anyone's in the chat, I can see what you're saying. I'm going to put this sign away. I have been sick. I had come down with pneumonia the day after Christmas. I went way south downhill, so I disappeared for a little while. I'm going to turn my ringer off too. Everyone's wanting to talk to Silver right now. Hey, look at that. Linkovich is in here. We got Bubs Comics, Metarog, Ben Compton. Nice to see you guys. So so I was a little sick over the holidays, which stunk. Great time of year. You want to eat and drink and be merry. And I was none of those things. None of those things sounded good. So I've been out of the loop. I've got a bunch of people who've reached out to me separately. Metarog, one of them, and my friend Jay Boxer and Chris had reached out to me and a whole bunch of other people. But thank you for that. But ultimately, now I'm fine. But I was sick for a little while. So now I'm back. I don't know how much back I'm going to be. I've got a lot going on. But I had a little bit of free time, so I thought I'd do an update video and show off a few things that I'd picked up over the holidays. Even when I had pneumonia so bad that literally my neck, my chest, head, everything hurt. Like I coughed my brains out. Everything hurt. But guess where Silver was? I was still out buying comics because that's what I do. Hey, Vincenzo C. and Kevin R. Nice to see you. Yeah, that is exactly. Vincenzo C., we were channeling each other last night because I actually put myself in your dream. And you're lucky I was fully clothed. I was thinking about it. Maybe I wouldn't be, but you're lucky. I put myself in there as Howard the Duck. So that's how it is. I was going quackers over the holiday. That's about as easy as I could sum it up. Heroes Icons, nice to see you, sir. So the day after Christmas, I went bedridden, man. I was so sick, and unfortunately, my sister-in-law is really really sick. Way worse than I. So my wife wasn't around a lot, and you know how it is, guys. When there's no wife around, what don't we do? We don't call the doctor. We never call the doctor. So I was literally in bed for 2 weeks, just hurting so bad, and still taking care of the house. And we've got 6 kids, and it's the holidays, so I was still up and around a little bit. Some days I was just tired and weak. But of course, what happens then? Last Monday, I was feeling a little bit better. So what do? I shared this with Metarog. I went out and I ran 8 miles, right? And I hadn't seen the doctor yet. Tuesday I had a doctor's appointment. Finally, I went in. They said, "Oh yeah, you've got pneumonia," and they prescribed me some antibiotics for it. And now I officially have pneumonia. I ran 8 miles yesterday. Lungs were burning. And what do? You go out and you run another 8 miles. And that's just dumb guy logic. Maybe you guys know where I'm coming from. I ended up last week with the antibiotics, with pneumonia. I ran 46 miles. Felt great. Other than my lungs were burning, I was tired and weak and moving slow. Other than that, it felt great to be outside. Now I am fully recovered. Hey, there's Christopher Joy and hi, Aaliyah. Nice to see you. Chris, thanks for reaching out to me, by the way. I rather than answer your email, I thought I'm just going to do a video. Hopefully everyone will see those. So, where I'm at now is I'm fully recovered. Hey, look at this. DC in Marvel Geek. Great to see you. Boyhood 7. What a powerhouse. I remember Boyhood 7. Most of you guys, I remember when you were brand new making videos. But what an incredible little thing you've done. So involved in so many aspects of the community, and the whole Christmas thing you had going on was great to watch. All you guys do great contributions, but wanted to shout out Boyhood 7 there momentarily. So why is it that I had pneumonia and I was running. Well, it's because a week from this Sunday, I have my first marathon of the year, which is the Polar Bear Indoor Marathon. I ran this in 2018. I thought it was my comeback year, and I did a 50 miler that year, but really didn't have a good year. I was still pretty sick, but a week from Sunday, that's January 26th, I have my first marathon of this year. I don't think I ran an official marathon last year, so it's the first one in a long time. And I have plans to catapult into 50 milers and 100 milers this year. So this is my start off of the year race. It stinks missing 2 weeks of training, but everything's coming together. So that's it about running. I'm going to put that up there. Hopefully about 10 days from now, I'll have another cool medal to put up here and be part of the comic room. I'll just set it back here with Howard. That's what I'll do. So, C3 Comics, hello, what's up, man? Bad Avenger. I always got to applaud Bad Avenger. If you guys aren't subbed to each other, please do that now. Please, please, please do that now. But if you're not subscribed to Bad Avenger, make a video, tell all your friends you're missing out, because that is one of the greatest people. When I started making videos, when I made a logo guy, it was because of Bad Avenger. He is the guy that I watched and I said, man, there's another old guy doing comics. If he's doing videos, maybe I should do videos. And I made a logo guy. Do me a favor, Bad Avenger, please show your original logo guy at some point, because it was cool, and he's a heck of an artist. So thank you. Nice to see you guys. Let me shout out a couple more. Holy mackerel. Surf Blue. I saw Patchman71 in here. Crazy Guy. Comic Song Too Long. Comic Song 2. Crazy. I screwed that name up, but we all know that. He's very involved in the community. Thank you. And hopefully I'm not missing anyone. I saw a TG up there. So anyway, my new COPA. Towards the end of the year, everyone came out with their COPA warning, and I have one, but I thought I'm going to do something that kind of says it all. You know, COPA warnings just says a little bit. So I want to do a major warning, so I hope you guys are ready for this. Okay, here's my warning. Okay? That says it all right there. I will have more warnings coming up on future videos, but for now, okay, heed the warning. That's it. If you're not as tall as this sign, okay, this video is not for you. All right? No attacking the comic room if you're not as tall as that sign. So there it is. That's my COPA warning for today. And hopefully that puts a smile on your face. And but for real, though, no attacking the comic room. So, with pneumonia, laid up, I would still get calls. You know, I had made a comment. Maybe, I don't know, 3 weeks out from the end of the year. A lot of people were announcing, this is my last haul of the day. And I came out with a video and I said, I hope I have 20 more hauls. You know, Christmas is a busy time of year. And so, so as I expected, it was very busy. I would think I bought 1,500 comic books between November and December. I was very, very busy, and oh my goodness, I just got a great text, and that very exciting. Thank you. I won't point it out on YouTube, but thanks for texting me. So I was buying comics. You know, a lot of that was the Inheritance Haul, but some other stuff happened. And I have finally sold a few comic books. I didn't know. Hold on, guys. Sketchworks. Ray is in the house. My good friend Ray. Thank you, Ray. Never forget this. Ray sent that to me out of the blue. Just a beautiful thing. Hangs here in the comic room. And nice to see you in here, Ray. So I was very busy. So one of my worst days, I was so sick, and a guy contacted me. He said, I've got 16 slabs and a whole bunch more comics. Would you be interested? And I ended up meeting him at my office. And hey, Comic Talks, nice to see you. And I ended up, I made him an offer on the 16 slabs, and they're good ones. Roger saw them, Metarog, and I had two other friends that I said, here's what I'm doing. Well, anyway, we couldn't come to a number. I made him a low offer because, I've been spending so much on comics and it's Christmas. And I made him an offer that I thought was fair, but it was low. And I said, hey, I probably have a little room. We parted company. And he called me the next day. He said, how about this number? And I said, how about we meet in the middle? And he said, man, you drive a hard bargain. And he sold me all 16 slabs. And there were 3 binders of books like this. And as I was coming to the office, I saw a good friend of mine. And I said, hey, I'm buying these books. I don't even know why I'm buying them. And it was good stuff. It was all slabbed. And I said, are you interested in this? I don't normally sell, but I didn't even know what I was doing. And he said, yes. And long story short is I ended up buying 16 slabs and 3 binders of comics. I ended up keeping 2 slabs and 1 binder of comics. So I thought I'd share that with you today. The first one I kept, this is actually my daughter Gwen liked this one. So I kept this one for her. This is Amazing Spider-Man #1. June of 2014. It's a Scotty Young variant signed on September 23rd, 2017. It's a 9.2, so not perfect. I don't know if these were pressed or what happened, but she liked it, so I kept that one for her. And then the real killer one, the one that I really liked out of this group, hello, Captain Crunch. You know what? I don't normally buy things unless people call me and tell me they have something for sale. Okay, so in other words, I love everything. When it comes my way, I see it, and I don't care if I have 10 of them. Usually, I fall in love with it pretty easy. It's a little bit of a curse. But this is the cool one. Out of the 16 books, there was a ASM 300. There was a New Mutants 87. There was a 98. Those were slabbed. There was a Wolverine Limited Series 1 slabbed. 2, 3, and 4 were raw. There was an X-Men 266. There was a lot of good books in there. But this is the one out of the whole crew that I really liked. This is X Factor #6. It is a 5 times signed. It's got Stan Lee, Bob McLeod. It's got Joe Rubenstein. It's got Louise Simonson. So 4 times signed. It's a 908 or 9.0, and first full appearance of Apocalypse on there. And I just thought, how often am I going to come across a Stan Lee sign like that? And by moving the rest of the books, it allowed this to be wildly affordable for me. So I'm really happy to welcome this book into my collection. I don't know to answer the Captain Crunch question. Do I buy slabs? Yes, I buy slabs. If it makes sense economically, then I will buy a slab. I'm not hung up on them, but certain books, if they come along and there's, I guess I'd call it future profit, or if there's potential, I will buy them, and it's fine. I might have 10 copies of this book already sitting in the box. This one specifically for me is just a CG Seed Stan Lee on there, and the other people who signed, no slouches in the group. These are all great signatures to have. So I'm happy to add that book. And then I thought I would share with you the binder before we move on to some other stuff. Since I haven't made a video in weeks, I've got all kinds of things. So I'm going to say hi to Comic Jabroni. Love the Comic Jabroni channel. Jim Bowers, very generous, great long-term member of the community. Nice to see you, Jim. Comics on the Mind is in here. I love the MYND. That is a great thing in there. And again, to everyone else, thank you so much for joining in. Hopefully, I'm not stepping on someone's allotted time on YouTube. YouTube is nuts lately. And I don't know, this will be controversial, but I don't know if I like it or not. It used to be that there were, a handful of videos a day that I found to be wildly educational. Hopefully, you guys saw my early videos as somewhat educational. And then every now and then there was a live stream. And it seems like, and this is really my only complaint, maybe it's a compliment too, there's too many live streams. There's a lot of great people in the community that I love watching. I love being part of the live stream. And when I kick on YouTube and I've got 4 different friends in 4 different groups doing 4 different live streams, and I look in there and I see, hypothetically 20 people in each live stream, it's frustrating to say, which one do I jump into? And sometimes I feel like, well, if I go into this live stream, then maybe I'll hurt the feelings of the person in that live stream. And sometimes I just make myself a fly on the wall, so as not to hurt anyone's feelings. So anyway, I don't know how I got off on that, but I hope I'm not stepping on someone's live stream who always does a 1 o'clock live stream. This is one of the 3 binders. He had a lot of Old Man Logan and Wolverine stuff, and he had a lot of Deadpool stuff. This is more of a Frank Miller, with the exception of the first couple. This is more of a Frank Miller Daredevil binder. And I'm not a big guy for binders, but I do have 3 binders now, and those are going to go to my kids for storing things up. And this one is, absolutely, Hellcat in there. So we have Avengers 144. Condition is just beautiful. I don't know if it would fall into a 9. I think it would be maybe a 9, 9.2, maybe a little higher on a good day with the right grader. Who knows? But just a beautiful copy. I'll take it out and show it so it's not in the binder. But that was a nice one. And here we have a Daredevil number 43, which is a great, great cover to have. I don't know if I've got 1 of these or 3 of these or what I have, but I'm always happy. You get a beautiful cover like that, I am always happy to add to the collection. So we have this Daredevil in there. And then the rest of these I'm going to leave in the binder, but we'll flip through. It's all this great Daredevil set of books to own. Great stuff. Boy Who Had 7 loves the number 43. Boy, you guys are too good to me. There's a lot of people in here. Thank you so much. So we've got number 179. And I was buying comics at this time. When this stuff was on the newsstand, I was a big Elektra fan. I have the Elektra saga and the Ronin stuff. And, there's so much great stuff at the time. And I was buying Daredevil. So I have tons of these. But, to go back to Captain Crunch's, my first kind of tongue-in-cheek answer was I buy everything. It really is so easy to fall in love with this hobby. It's so beautiful. I have a local friend, Randy. I'll talk about him at some point. But we were talking the other day, and I'd say that some people read the comics aggressively, some people read them casually, some people don't read them. But I think what joins the community together, all of us respect the art on the covers. And so, I saw this set of books and I thought, man, I don't care how many I have, I need more. So here we have number 181. Such a great issue to have. And this one's in just really beautiful condition. We have 182, which I forget if it was Metarog or Bob or Lawrence from King of Comicdom who showed this off on the Christmas live stream. But great issue to have. Okay. Um, and let's see. And so we have number 183. I'll move quickly through these. And I got something else cool to show off. This is number 184. And then 188. Hopefully you guys can see these okay. I'm not checking the glare too much. And then this is number 191. And then 196. So, yeah, I see the discussion on Bad Avenger. And there are a handful of channels out there that are so educational. And I know there's risk, I guess, in doing videos. This is a grown-up video. This is for the big people. And, for the little people, come back later. Watch this later. But it is sad when educational channels, start thinning out. So that's 196 there. Okay, so Bubs, he's a big Wolverine guy. And there's your Wolverine, Bubs. So then what we have, let me put this away. I was watching the other day. I mentioned a local friend. I sold some comics. Okay, I'm trying to come to grips with selling comics. I really haven't done it before. So I had a local guy I met. He came to my garage sale a year and a half ago or more, and he wanted to buy some comics. And then I just wasn't ready. Hey, Keith Larson's in here. Nice to see ya. I'm doing fine. I'm on the mend, and I'm running a polar bear indoor marathon in 10 days next Sunday, a week from Sunday. So what's that? 9 days. So hopefully it's going to be a great year. And what was I saying? Oh, anyway, so I ended up calling him out of the blue a couple weeks ago. And I said, Randy, I think I'm ready to sell some comics. I really am trying to get to that point. I am closing in probably on 36,000, 37,000 comic books. And I either need a warehouse or I need to sell some comic books. And there's the Mr. Bill for you, Comics on the Mind. And that's actually Mr. Chris. For people that don't know, this looks like Mr. Bill, but this is actually Mr. Chris. If anyone's not subscribed to Chris Lackey, he is a great comic community guy. And I was watching just random videos one night. This is a few years ago. And this guy came on with a video, and I literally sat laughing so hard that my belly hurt. Everything hurt. And basically what he did, he had a stoneware like this. Sorry, I'm getting away from the story. He had a stoneware like this. And what he did is he put the comics here like this, and he would use it to stand up the comics. But then he was like the Tool Time Tim guy. He'd have his face like he was sitting in a couch right behind there. And his videos were literally like this, if you can imagine the whole video, like looking over. And I found it so funny that I actually went on eBay and I bought one of these stoneware things, which his wife is a big fan of these. These aren't cheap either. But I bought that stoneware just so I could make some Chris Lackey videos. And then I decided to he has a puppet that he has Silver Age Dave puppet. And so I ended up making the Mr. Bill into the Mr. Chris puppet. Yes, Mr. Chris, that's what I did. So that's the story for people that don't know the story. Hey, Super Russ, nice to see ya. So there we go. We're covering all kinds of ground. And I'm going to put this down here. So anyway, so my friend Randy came in. He ended up buying 5 comics from me, some early Fantastic Four. I sold him, like number 31. I think he bought a 35, a 42, number 47, and a 51. All in really nice condition. And it worked out for both of us. And I had multiples on most of them anyway. So while he was in here, though, as happens, People that stop into the comic room for, a quick visit, generally 2-3 hours goes by that we hang out and we drink some beers and have fun. Kevin R might be on that list tomorrow, who knows? And it just, you end up spending a lot of time in here. Well, while he was in here, we were talking all about 35-cent variants, which he didn't know a lot about. So I pulled out some 35-cent variants and I educated on them. And we talked about 30-cent variants and all that stuff. So during that discussion, the Star Wars 35-cent variant came up. We were talking about it. And for guys that, and this is what was so funny, is I pulled these books out, which I just had sitting on the floor over there. But guys that watch Daz, I'm gonna screw his name up. I watch him like every time he does an alert or anything. Sub up Daz. I don't think it's Daz the Key Chaser, but maybe it is. I mix up him and the Key Comic Market Watch. So I think it is Daz the Key Chaser. So anyway, Daz just did an alert on Star Wars #3 being a hot book that's selling a ton. And then lo and behold, Comic Tom 101, great community guy. Daz the Key Chaser. So then Comic Tom 101 yesterday came out with a video, and he's talking about a Star Wars #1 35-cent variant that just sold for $9,000. And it wasn't even that nice. It was like an 8, which is pretty nice. So I thought I would do a video and I'd show some of these. These are books I bought a long time ago. They were part of a collection. This is Star Wars #2. Sorry they got the plastic on them. I turned these in. Jim Bowers, you come to Toledo, man. Okay, great. Anyone who wants to come and visit me, okay, one of my things on my list of things to do every year is play dates. And so my private message doesn't work. silveragedave@gmail.com is my email, 2 D's in Silver Age Dave. You email me, say, hey, I'm going to be in Toledo, and I'll give you my cell phone number, and then we'll get together and we'll talk comics and usually drink a Bud Light and have a great time. But anyway, that's how you get in the comic room, is you just come to Toledo. And Jim Bowers doesn't live that far away, so hopefully, Jim, that happens soon. So this is Star Wars #2, and I've got more than a long box of just Star Wars comics. I've got a bunch of multiples on all the early Star Wars, but this is special because it's the 35-cent variant. And most people know that #1 is a 35-cent variant, but most people don't know that the variant run for Star Wars was also included #2, #3, #4. So this is a real special comic that is graded an 8.5 CBCS. This comic I paid to have it pressed. I did not pay to have it cleaned, and it needed to be cleaned. It could have handled the cleaning. So I don't know if that would be a 9 or a 9.2 at CGC or if it was cleaned, but it's a beautiful comic book. And so that is very nice and rare. It's something you won't see all that often. I'll put that back here. It's my only copy of #2. And that means in this stack, I'm going to have some multiples. So Daz was showing off #3, which is a really cool comic to have. There's no big key appearances in it. I don't think. Oh, you know what? It's the first appearance of the Death Star. That's what it is. #3 is first appearance of the Death Star. And that, again, it's a 35-cent variant. Okay. And then, as luck would have it, Silver Age Dave is a multiples guy. So we have another copy of this. And these are all pressed, not cleaned. So I think there's some upward motion on here. Bad Avenger, pleasure having you in here. Nice to see you. Happy 2020, my friend. So this one is a 9.0 35-cent variant. And then we have another 9.0, 35-cent variant. These are going to be for sale. Okay, now I'm not selling on YouTube, but I'm thinking of putting these on eBay and selling these. And then this one is here. This is a 35-cent variant, a 9.0. And then, hey, Funkoff is in here. Nice to see you, buddy. Yeah, this is a little bit of heat. This is the kind of heat that I like, but when you buy multiples and then something hits, not that number 3 hits, but the variants are good to have. And then this is the last one of this set. This is the 35-cent variant, 9.4. Again, pressed, not cleaned. So these are books that I'm scratching my head thinking maybe I should send them to CGC or really Erod or send them to Strictly Edwin at Strictly Comics, have them press and clean them. I think there might be upward movement, but if these are hot, they're hot then. So yeah, Chris, Toledo was one of the 4 test markets. There's rumors that maybe there were 6 test markets, but I think there were only 4 that have been confirmed. But that being said, not all test markets got all the comics. And I've never seen a Star Wars #1 in Toledo. I've never known a collector in Toledo that purchased one. So I think the #1s, the 4 big #1s were, well, the 3 big #1s were Star Wars, Scooby-Doo, and the Flintstones. And I think those 3 comics passed us by. And the reason I think that is that when I buy collections that have a lot of 35-cent variants, they will typically have the 30-cent #1 and the 30-cent Scooby. And I've never seen a Flintstones in a set I've bought, but they exist in Toledo. And I've never seen the 35-cent variant in them. So there's a little bit of history lesson on Toledo in the market. So we've got 5 copies of #3. Daz, I hope you are right that he didn't say it was a hot book alert. It was just on CBSI or whoever said it was, gaining some heat. So if that one gains some more heat, that would be good for old silver. And those are things, like I say, I'm trying to figure out how to list these. I'm frankly thinking of putting them up as a buy it now, all of them together, the #2, the #3s, and then this is the last one of the 35-cent variant set. This is #4, 35-cent variant Star Wars, and then if the going's good, keep going, and we have the multiple on that. 35-cent variant. So I wanted to show those off to everyone. 42 people in here. Inconceivable, to quote Princess Bride. Thank you. A lot of people tuning in, and I love that. No, Chris, we were not a 30-cent variant market. I think Grand Rapids, Michigan was a 35 or 30-cent variant market. So I've seen them come this way. Yep, see, Metarog is the expert on really both of them. But I've seen 30 centers here because we're not that far. We're like, I don't know, a couple and a half hours from Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's not that far. And because of the car business, because of GM and Chrysler, we see a lot of people moving around that lower end of Michigan. Grand Rapids is kind of to the far left on Lake Michigan. Detroit's on the far right on Lake Erie, and then Toledo's just below Detroit. So we have, yeah, Comic Talks, exactly. People move back and forth, and they move to Toledo because of G-Plant and the GM powertrain. And so there's a lot of movement. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's, 35-cent variants up in Detroit, frankly, because of that. So Doomsday Comics, nice to see you. So anyway, those are things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to shout out a few channels that are important to me. I am going to try to take the opportunity to show off these Very Views as often as I can. These came out, I think, in 1966. The Very View company did Very Views for everything. Political buttons and TV shows and movies and, I mean, you name it, products. anything that could be put on a very view was put on a very view. These were made into rings. This set was raw, so these weren't made into rings, and you basically would walk around with those. But pretty cool. We've got we'll start over here. We've got Batman and Robin. Then we've got the Batcopter and the Batmobile. Very neat. And then we've got Batman and Robin and the logo. And then we've got Batman and the Joker, which is great, having a little battle. Okay. And then what do we have over here? Looks like we've got the Riddler and Robin. And then we've got the Joker and the Penguin. So those are very views. You know where you find these things? At flea markets, booths that sell coins. Interestingly enough, whenever I see very views, it's always at a coin dealer. Comic book stuff, they generally don't make it to comic book stores. For whatever reason, they make it to coin dealers. So, yeah, I didn't think, yet never seen that before. Azkaban, I hope I pronounced that right. Yeah, it's stuff you typically don't see, but those are pretty cool. Yeah, tough to find, but you gotta also dig deep sometimes. So, guys, that's probably, unless someone wants to see something by special request, I think I'm probably gonna close it out there. I did today I did a 12-mile run. Felt great. It was fast and furious for an old guy. I weigh over 200 pounds, so fast for me and fast if you're Alex the comic hoarder are different things. But that's fast for me was good. So I think I'm all ready for the marathon next week. I'm still working with a few people on comic hauls, so hopefully I'll still be buying comics. But we have a lot of life stuff going on, so I'm healthy and doing well. If you don't see me for a little while, then it's not because I'm sick. It's just because we have some other life stuff. Hold on, guys. Hold on. We have some other life stuff going on, is what that means. And just being busy. Metarog said he wants to see a couple of other 35 centers. So what I'll do, let me pull out some of my favorite ones if I can find them. Hang on, guys. Now I'm digging through a box and you guys are looking at nothing. So I saw some new people. I think, hopefully I said hi to Funk Off, and it looks like Tom's Comic Books and Reviews. Thank you so much. Christopher Joy picked up an ASM 15730 center. Very nice. Great pickup. Let's see here. I've got... I'll just put a couple of these out, and then we'll look at them together. That one, and rather than going through a whole bunch of them, we'll just show a few of them. Oh, that's a good one to show right there. Oh, yes. So, I have more of these that I have misplaced, apparently. I don't know what I did with them. So I'll just show a few of these. Oh, here's one, here's one, here's one. Okay. Yeah, we'll just show these. All right. So we'll do these by special request. Sorry if you're chatting here. Looks like Funk Off might be cutting out. Thank you. Hey, silver-haired Bronze Age Babe Comics. Nice to see you. I call her Bronzy. And I had the most beautiful testament. She made a video while I was kind of bedridden with pneumonia, and I watched that video. Thank you so much. I am going to maybe, I don't want to be like patting myself on the back, but she did a beautiful video and, did a shout out for me. So thank you so much for that. Roger sent that to me, and I was down and out. And but it did cheer me up at that point. So thank you. And we have Fish and Freaks Comics in here. Thank you. And John Hicks, nice to see you. So poor Mike, great. Again, my apologies if I'm missing anyone. So Roger asked to see some 35-cent variants, and I'm going to do just that. I'm going to put a couple of these in order because when I took these out of the box, I did it like a maniac apparently, and they're all out of order, and that's no good for anybody if they're out of order. 1 minute, and we'll be there. Wow, I got a stack of those. Sometimes you forget what you have, I guess. All right, so the first one here, this is John Carter, Warlord of Mars. That's a 35-cent variant. And these are going to look exactly the same as anything else, but they happen to have that 35-cent price stamp on them. And that one, because it's a number one, I figure that's kind of cool. And that one's in a near mint plus, maybe near mint, maybe not. Got borderline high grade. I've got a bunch of these, but I pulled just this one out. This is Tarzan number 1. In this run, Tarzan 1 and 2 were both 35-cent variants. And so we've got that one. And I'm going to refresh because I might be lagging behind on my own screen. So we have that. COPA has been around a long time, but it's just now being enforced by YouTube is what's happening. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was like that stuff happened under Obama administration. So I think it was stuff that happened maybe in 2014 or 2013. Maybe someone in here is better versed and can answer that better. But I think it's stuff that's just now kind of, becoming a hindrance, I'll call it. Anytime government gets involved, I think it's a hindrance, and that is definitely a hindrance. So, okay, so then, hey, Luther Manning's in here. Nice to see you, Patrick. One of my favorite channels. Everyone sub each other up. So then this one is a really cool one. This is 2001 Space Odyssey, number 8. There's the 35-cent standard cover, and then there's the 35-cent variant. And then this book, if you don't know it, this is the first origin and first appearance of Machine Man, Mr. Machine, and it's great Jack Kirby story and art. I don't know if people would say it's a great story, but it is Jack Kirby story and art on this one. And so as some of you know, I was buying up Machine Man number 1 and 2001 Space Odyssey number 8 maybe a year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I have a CG seed copy somewhere around here, but this one came along and just a nice one to see. So there's a 35 center, and that is easily a near mint to mint. If I gave that to Luther Manning, it'd probably get a 9.9. He and his buddy Mike would press that and clean it, maybe a 10.0. They might make a 10.1 category at CGC because that comic is so pretty after Luther and Mike got done with it. So we've got that one. This one came along, and oddly enough, I didn't even recognize it. I'd bought a collection from a guy, a local guy, and this was in there, and I didn't even notice it. And I am a huge Human Fly fan. I've probably got 10 copies of number 1. When I was a kid, I thought Human Fly was awesome, so I was buying them pretty deep, and I didn't even notice the 35 center. Metarog, commented on the video and said, "Hey, I think that's the 35 center," and it also had the number 2. And these are really rare. These are hard to find, and they are not perfect. These are red. These look like comics that would have been mine as a kid, and great Ghost Rider cover there. So that is a neat one to have. Those are my only copies of that in 35 cent. And then this one, I misplaced the number 14, but this is Howard the Duck, number 13. Okay, and this is the first full appearance of Kiss, and it has a Damon Hellstrom app and cameo of Howard the Duck as son of Satan. And so that's number 13, and that has the 35 center on it. And these books, these Howard the Ducks, I bought from a lady I go to church with. Her husband was an engineer and collected comics, and then after he died, they sat, and eventually she sold them to me, and it was just beautiful. And I didn't pay all that much, but just a great set of books. So that's number 13, and then number 14 I misplaced. I have it, but I misplaced it somewhere in this room. This one is really special. This is number 15. For anyone who wants to hear about it, I can share the story. This is the 35-cent variant of number 15, which makes it rare, and it's the first app of Dr. Bong. Okay, so that's cool just in and of itself, but it also happens to be an error variant. So anyone who follows recalledcomics.com, you can read all about this, but it is an error. And what they did when they were printing out this set of the 35 centers, they reversed the yellow in the magenta, the cyan and the magenta, and this is. Here's a tip of the day for you guys. I did this one once before. Anytime I have a book with an inside signature, which I happen to have one sitting here, this is ASM 44. When I bought this, I didn't know it was signed, and sure enough, I found John Romita's signature inside. So I take pictures, and then I go into Microsoft Paint, and I put together a little card that goes on the back, and then that way people know without opening the book and damaging it. I've got the cover, I've got the splash page, zoom in on the signature, and so they know what they're getting. Well, I do the same thing with errors, that this has numerous. Hey, Pages, Films, and Plastics, nice to see you. I'm doing great now. I was real sick, but now I'm better. So this one I put together, I've got the cover with the 35-cent variant. I've got the little blurb from recalledcomics.com. I've got their little thing here that shows that it's an error variant, which makes it very, very rare and very, very special. And then I show the splash page where the Howard the Duck is kind of in a magenta color instead of being white or yellow. And then you have the Foom, and you have the magenta Godzilla. Okay, and these are all inside the book. And then you have the beach there, which instead of being, yellowish is magenta, and you can see where it's miscolored. So there's only a handful of pages in here that are miscolored, but it's a very rare and special error 35-cent variant. Okay, so happy to see that. And then we have, apparently, I didn't know I have 3 copies of number 16 in varying conditions. This is the album issue, and so when you read through this book, there's like a whole section of it that's almost like you're looking through a photo album. It's really, really cool. I'm not going to open it up because that would take more time than I have, but it's a cool one to have. So whether you get it with a 30 center or a 35, it's cool to look at. And then the last one here that I pulled out is Howard the Duck number 17. That was the last of the 35-cent variants in the Howard run. Howard was nice because he got the full 5 issues. Some of them like ASM had 5 issues, a bunch of them had 5, but Howard the Duck had 5. And that makes it special. And a full set of 5 came right from Dorothy. That was the lady I bought them from church. So they are all special and wonderful. And then Luther Manning, you weren't in here earlier, but I have all these Star Wars variants. If you're still in here, let's talk, because I had all these books pressed but I didn't have them cleaned. And I think they would benefit from a cleaning. So I have 2 copies of number 4. I don't know if you saw them. I have 5 copies of number 3. I've got a 7.5, a 9, a 9, a 9, and then a 9.4 somewhere. Oh, there's the 9.4. Bringing up the rear right there. And then I have a copy of number 2, which is an 8.5. So these were pressed but not cleaning. I think they could stand to be cleaned and maybe get a rate bump. So I'm looking for your opinions on what I should do with them. If you're free at some point, maybe we'll chat. Bake the Snake, nice to see. I don't think I shouted out Bake the Snake yet. Bridget, nice to see you. Thank you so much. Matt, thank you for stopping in. Please sub each other up if you're not subbed. Great channels. So many great channels out here. Fishing Freaks Comics. I'm not sure if you saw my walleye video from like 2 years ago, but Toledo, Ohio, home of the Maumee River, the big, I was running today right past the big river and past the Maumee River. In a month from now, it's going to be loaded with fishermen. So if you haven't checked out that video, it's called This Is Fishing ? Silver Age Dave video. So if you like fishing, that's a good one to watch. Frederick, nice to see you. Where in Ohio do you live? I'd love to meet. I live in Cleveland. I live in a suburb of Toledo, and literally I am 1 mile from the Ohio Turnpike. So from Cleveland, we have family in Cleveland. We get there quite a bit. Depending on where you're at, you're about an hour. That's my email. So send me an email and then we can, figure it out. And also this year, Frederick, I'm thinking of rerunning the Burning River 100-mile run, which starts in Cleveland and it runs through all the metro parks and it finishes in Akron. It's a great race. I think it's in July, June or July. Heat always wipes people out. And before I had cancer, I ran that race and it wiped me out. And I was trained for it, but it wiped me out. And then that's how they ended up finding my cancer, was the cancer was getting me. Yeah, Biggie Shack is in Ohio. There's a lot of good Ohio people. And so, yeah, if you ever want to come visit, you come visit me and we'll drink some Bud Lights and talk comics. And I'd love it. That would be great. So, guys, that's it. So the big COPA warning for today, it's not for kids. You got to be at least as tall as this sign to attack the comic room, okay? And come back later if you're a kid. But for all you grown-ups out there, thank you for being here and being part of the thing. Silver Age Guy, one of the nicest guys in the community. Thank you for being in here. And that's going to be it. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for spending a little bit of Friday with me. Great appreciation to all you guys. I hope there's lots of fun stuff happening in the community later today. Be part of it. Smile a lot. Get outside. I know there's a snowstorm coming, but after that, get outside and go for a walk and smile. Spring is in the air, guys. Silver Age Dave is out.